With a nod, I step into the hallway and turn down the hall towards the nearest machine. As I approach, I begin to make out the brief shadow of someone sitting on the bench being casted onto the walls. I turn the corner to find... Hi, Natsuki. Natsuki, who's staring down at her feet with a deep concentration, as if they were the most interesting things she's ever seen. She immediately notices my footsteps and looks up, revealing to me her flustered expression, which is quickly replaced with one of annoyance. At least try to hide your disappointment. So, is this what you've been ditching club for?
What's it to you?
Yeesh, last time I tried to be nice to you. The least you could do is tell Sayori you're too busy. She's been really upset since you started skipping. Mentioning Sayori's concern seems to get through to her as she falls silent and looks back towards her feet with an even more strained expression. She looks sad enough to make me feel a little bad for bringing it up. I take a seat next to her and try to summon up the urge to make peace with my longtime rival, but something's stopping me. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I sort of feel out of place right now, like I'm intruding on something. This is just Yuri all over again. I want to go home and...
Do you need something? I kind of want to be alone right now.
Hey, don't interrupt my monologues. They're my biggest piece of character development. But yeah, I do need something. Natsuki doesn't look away from the floor, which makes it much easier to phrase in my head what I wanted to say. I wanted to apologize about last Friday. We sort of embarrassed ourselves in front of everyone and got heated about something stupid. I shouldn't have acted that way and stuff.
It's a bit late to apologize, don't you think?
Hey, at least I'm trying.
All right, it's whatever. It wasn't even the worst fight we've had.
I let out a nervous laugh as I think back on some of me and Natsuki's fiercer online arguments. Our GMs would crush the heart of someone pure-hearted like Yuri. I look towards her and notice that her stare remains glued to the ground. It's a little awkward just sitting here. So, a rough day, huh?
Are you stupid, or did you think my attitude was supposed to be inviting? Or inviting?
Well, I thought that maybe...
Thought what? That I'd want to talk to you of all people?
There's an increasing level of anger in her voice, and I begin trying to backpedal to avoid another fight so soon after my apology. No, but I was just trying to...
You are the last person I'd ever want to talk, especially about something like this. Word of advice, trying to be some charismatic Casanova doesn't work with your neat appearance.
Why are you getting so angry? I was just trying to lend an ear. You don't have to be a total bitch about it. The last of my restraint is being tested as the heat in my face reaches an unbearable level.
You want to know why I'm angry?
She stands up and looks me in the eye with a fiery glare, one that I hadn't seen even during our argument.
Because I've just had one of the worst goddamn days of my life, and you come up to me and try to hand me a half-assed apology that you were clearly forced to give. Then you want to play the hero and get me to talk about my feelings when I already told you to piss off. You guys always think you're some kind of knight in shining armor that'll just fall into your hands and then jump into your beds. I apologize to you because I felt bad about blowing up at you, and you not only didn't apologize yourself, but started throwing accusations at me. Don't think you can be a child and have a temper tantrum just because stuff's not going your way. And what guy would even be interested in someone like you anyways? They might as well date another dude. Natsuki begins to shiver with anger, and I feel an increasing desire to punch the girl in front of me. She balls her hands into fists and delivers a punch directly to my face, more specifically my left eye, which knocks me onto my back. And you kinda deserved it. Ow, what the hell? I hit the cold tiling of the hallway and watch as Natsuki's face contorts into various forms of anger. You!
She manages to get a single word before a stream of tears makes its way down her face, and she sprints off towards the stairs, leaving me on the floor, extremely confused. Good job, you made her cry. I managed to pull myself to my feet and decided to give up on grabbing something to drink. I trudged my way back into the club room, clutching my eye in pain. Yuri looks up, mostly likely, don't need the Leon mostly, expecting Monica and Sayori to come through, and is shocked to see me walk in injured instead.
Secretary, what happened to your eye?
Ah, crap. Did she leave a bruise? Yuri puts away her book and rushes over to me, looking over my bruised eye with a motherly concern.
Did you hit your head on the way here? There? This looks pretty bad.
Nah, I just ran into our club's resident goblin and she socked me hard. Definitely a lot of power in that girl's right hook.
Goblin? Do you mean that Natsuki did this to you?
Yeah, I found her sitting on a bench and decided to ask her about why she was ditching club. It kind of got heated, as you can see.
I guess she had a bad day. But even then, to punch you in the eye for trying to ask feels out of character. Or for trying to ask feels out of character for her.
Well, we've only really gotten to talk to her for like 2 days, so I guess you misjudged her. So far, she seems to just be a big bitch. As if you had nothing to do with this. Yuri winces at my casual profanity, and I start to regret being so aggressive in my phrasing. She seems unsatisfied with my analysis of Natsuki, but it doesn't look like she'll argue further.
That aside, we should deal with the swelling. Hold on, give me a moment.
Yuri returns to her desk and retrieves a metal container from her bag. She rushes past me and heads down the hall. I decided to take my old seat next to Yuri and wait for her to return, which doesn't take too long. She walks over to me and places the container against my eye, which I instantly realize is freezing cold and I recoil violently.
I'm sorry. I should have told you how cold it was.
It's fine, just surprise me is all. Yuri places the frigid cylinder against my eye again, and it isn't long before I start to feel the pain subside.
This is the best I can do. I don't carry ice packs with me, and the nurse is no doubt locked up already, so...
Don't worry about it so much. Yuri, your concern alone is enough to make me feel better.
Is that so?
Yuri looks away from me as she continues to hold the makeshift ice pack in place. This shy side to her is so adorable. Sorry about this. You seemed like you really wanted to read your book.
You're worrying too much. It's perfectly fine.
As time ticks away, Yuri continues to look away from me, occasionally looking back at me with the same nervous glancing the two of us practiced earlier. It's when I start to wonder why she's so embarrassed that I realize the intimacy of the situation the two of us are in. We're real close right now. Instead of handing me the container herself, Yuri is the one holding it for me. To anyone passing by, we definitely look like some gross lovey-dovey couple. The flush slowly crawls across my face as my lack of experience causes my brain to lock up. I should say something to break this awkward tension, but... You read a lot, huh? Well, no shit she does.
Yeah, I do. Most of my free time is spent reading something new.
Got anything you do besides that? She takes a moment to think. Something seems to pop in her mind briefly, but she quickly disregards it. Nothing, huh?
It would seem so. I've just never really found much interest in anything else. Ever since I was young, I've almost always had my head in a book. I guess I'm weird, huh? During lunch, I sneak off to read in the courtyard, and when I get home, I make a cup of tea to go along with my reading. It isn't too often that I wake up having fallen asleep in the middle of a page.
Oh, I did the wrong button. Yeah.
That makes me seem a little boring to most people, though.
Hearing all of this is kind of sad. I can't help but see a bit of myself in her. It makes it feel very personal. Even if I can't quite think of the right words, I try my best to reassure her. I'm not much better, honestly. I tend to spend most of my time online. It's rare not to catch me on my phone or computer. It's probably worse in my case, though. At least reading's a legitimate hobby. In the end, I guess we're both weird, huh? I awkwardly smile at Yuri.
Yeah, I guess we are.
That smile again. I start to feel really embarrassed. It's then when...
I'm back. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find Monica.
Every time is 2 words. Sayori returns from her search and walks in on this peculiar scene straight from a rom-com. Her and Yuri's eyes immediately meet as she looks over the two of us with a complex expression.
Oh, you two sure have gotten close.
It's not like that. You just
Yuri looks back to me as if I'm capable of saving the situation. I'm touched by her faith in me, but unfortunately, I doubt I'll do much better than she can. Nonetheless, I give it my best shot. I ended up getting a black eye while you were out, Sayori. Yuri was just helping me by holding this cold container to my eye.
Why didn't you just hold it yourself, though? Did you get your arm injured, too?
Sayori presses further and with more logical reasoning than I'm used to from her, and I can't even begin to form a solid answer to her question.
That's
A good question. Why did Yuri hold the bottle for me? Is she flirting with me? But we've only known each other a week. It can't possibly be that. That's just my overactive virgin mind trying to work me up.
You said you couldn't find Monica?
Yuri desperately tries to change the subject, and while Sayori doesn't look she'll let the discussion go fully, she relents and moves on.
Yeah, she wasn't in her classroom or in the teacher's office, and none of her classmates seemed to know where she was. It's like she disappeared.
Did she even come to school today? You're sure she isn't sick?
She was. I saw her during lunch talking to some of her friends.
As I say that, Yuri and Sayori's phones both go off and they pull them out to read whatever notification they've received.
It's a text in the club group chat. Monica says that something important came up and she had to leave early.
Aw, meeting is canceled.
Wait, there's a club group chat? Alright, well then, I guess there's no reason to hang around here anymore. Yuri begins to pack away her book and stands up.
I think I'll start making my way home then. I hope your eye heals soon, F. Scott.
F. Scott?
Well, you know, because of your speech earlier when I asked about... and secretary isn't really a name, so I thought...
did they forget an apostrophe there? Yeah, I think they meant to encase secretarian apostrophes, but they only did one. Yuri seems to have said this accidentally and quickly tries to explain herself with little success.
Never mind. I'll see you two next week. Goodbye.
She walks quickly out of the club room, leaving me alone with this confused Sayori. Ah, wait, she forgot her water bottle.
What was that about?
Nothing. She just asked about The Great Gatsby earlier since you made her read it.
It's not like I forced her or anything.
But she even left her
bottle here. Shall we run to return it to her?
We can just give it back to her on Monday. Besides, that means I can keep using it for my eye.
Your eye? Oh, what happened to your eye?
Slow on the uptake as always, Sayori. I mean, they did mention. Sayori seats herself in the same desk Yuri was at. While I tell her the story of my war scar. She listens quietly until I reach the end.
That doesn't sound like Natsuki at all. There's no way she'd ever attack someone like that unless they attacked her first.
Yuri said the same thing. It's almost like I attacked her with words or something. I don't know what to tell you. Girl knocked me clean off my feet and left me with this mess.
Something must be going on. Maybe she's being bullied or failing a class or...
Personally, I just think she's an undecent person. Wait, why am I censoring myself around Sayori? I even apologized to her about last week, but she said it was half-assed.
I should text her when I get home. Something's clearly wrong.
Look, I don't really care. I'm just saying, so far, all she's done is fight with me and give me a bruise. There is little reason for me to like her.
I guess so, but still.
Sayori looks just as dissatisfied with my conclusion as Yuri was, and, just like her, refrains from pushing further. Anyways, can you hand me the ice pack? I'm starting to feel the numbness wear off.
Oh, here, I can hold it for you.
Sayori grabs the container from the desk and hastily aims it towards my face, bonking me in the eye with its bottom. Ow! Careful, Sayori!
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's whatever, just hand me the bottle. I grab the bottle from her and hold it to my eye on my own. Give me a minute, then we can start heading home, alright?
Yeah, okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to go grab something to drink from the vending machines really quick.
Here. I pull out my wallet and hand her a few notes. I figured you wouldn't have any cash on hand, so...
Oh, thanks. I'll be right back.
Sayori rushes out the room, cash in hand, and turns towards the stairwell. Oh, right, there's machines over there, too.
What kind of soda does he like?
I say this
to myself as I look over the selection of drinks in the machine. I had planned to buy him something with my own cash, but since he gave me some money, I should at least use it. He drinks too much soda in a day, but this is the best apology I can think of. I should have been more careful. I was so caught up on him and Yuri that I shake my head and try to rid myself of those thoughts. The more I think about it, the deeper the pit in my chest becomes. Just thinking about the scene between him and Yuri makes me... I'm doing it again. Clicking one of the selections that looks familiar to me, the machine gives out a clink as the drink drops to the bottom. As I reach down and grab it, I hear a quiet noise coming from the stairs. I grab the drink and then look over towards the steps to find the source. That's Natsuki. She seems to be crying, occasionally letting out sniffles and hiccups.
Hiccups is all one word, I'm pretty sure. 2 C's.
As I start to approach her, she grabs a small metal container that was lying next to her and takes a long sip. Should I go over there? From what he said, she seems to want to be alone right now. Weighing the options, I decide that I should probably leave her alone and text her about this later when she's calmed down. Besides, I want some time with him too.
Poem 4, Anasati. There's your credits for that episode. Can I fit in the poem of the day?
I seriously have to do this?
Well, I'm not going to force you, but I'd really appreciate it if you participated.
If you're going to be sincere, fine. But can I get a different cameraman? I don't want him to be staring at me with those gross eyes of his.
I'm not exactly stoked about this either. Oh hey, his name is back to secretary. But if you just read the teleprompter, we'll get through it a lot quicker.
Whatever, let's just do this already.
Thanks, Natsuki. Good luck out there.
Hey, I'm Natsuki. Welcome to another edition of Poet of the Day.
Ooh, the text works properly. Though I suppose there's nothing for it to bounce off of.
You got something you want to say, jackass?
Nope, not at all, Gremlin.
I'm sure you're all just as excited to learn about old dead guys as I am, so let's just get this over with. And just like that, you've ruined this show's mission statement. Today's featured writer is the famous American poet, Robert Frost, whose legacy extends beyond that of debatably any other poet before him. Geez, this sounds so stuffy and professional. Who wrote this script, Yuri?
Yes, she did. Now read.
All right. Robert Lee Frost was born on March 26th in 1874. His childhood was fairly ordinary, with the exception of his father passing away when he was young. So, pretty standard 19th century childhood. During his early high school days, he acquired a love of poetry which inspired him to further pursue the craft upon admission to Dartmouth. After securing a publication in the Independent, Frost got full of himself and dropped out of college after a year to spend more time on poetry. He married a woman, had some kids, yada yada yada.
I feel as if you're not reading the teleprompter.
Well, no one wants to hear every detail about his life. The sorts of people who tune into this show are already too stupid to know who Matsuo Basho is. You really think they care about how Frost became a poultry farmer? I hardly care.
Okay, I get it. Sheesh.
Now you probably noticed how we haven't mentioned anything about Frost's poems yet, aside from his first publication. That's because Frost's entire life has been one big failure after another. While he did manage to secure publishing during college, his poetry career hadn't gone anywhere since. Everyone who knew him told him constantly, you might not be cut out for this thing. And he did, or did he listen? Of course not, because you're sitting there while I'm forced to talk about him. Around the turn of the century, Frost upended his entire family and moved them across the Pacific to England, since he thought people would be more receptive. Luckily, he wasn't wrong. Poet critics at the time fell in love with his works, and his popularity eventually made it back to America, and he didn't need a hyphen there. So after, once again, moving his family, he returned to America and found himself suddenly popular. His poems cater to the industrializing America by depicting simple, everyday occurrences through, colloquial language, and his personification is a wise sage?
Colloquial is an adjective referring to the specific speaking dialect of a specific group of people. Also, you pronounce it colloquial.
Anyway, Frost's career hit its peak in 1960 when he was awarded a Congressional Gold Medal for enriching American culture, which was pretty good timing as Frost would pass away around 3 years later. Thank God!
Don't be so disrespectful to the dead. Besides, it's not over yet. You have to finish with some closing thoughts. Hey, it's not my rule. Don't look at me like that.
You want some thoughts? Fine. Robert Frost was a man who had little right to try to be a poet and caused trouble for his family because he refused to get realistic. The only reason he got popular at all was due to plain luck. If you tried to retrace his steps yourself, You'd only find your heartache and make yourself look like an jackass. And you didn't need a hyphen there either. But his tale is pretty inspiring to other creative types. And even if it isn't realistic, you'll find success just because you try really hard. His devotion to what he loved was admirable. It serves as a reminder that experiencing failures isn't damning proof of further failure. Alright, I'm done. See you later. Oh, and thanks for watching.
And that's going to do it for this session of Forward Momentum. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And we'll catch you next time with more of this stuff. As far as I know, we're getting pretty close to the end of it, actually. So next session will probably be the last. We'll be picking up even more mods. But yeah, I'll catch you next time. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.